One of the most frequent questions I get is, hey Marin, my results are inconsistent, or my results dropped recently and I did not change anything. What's happening? My answer is that something must have changed, and there's an easy way to find out what. So here's how I troubleshoot bad ROAS every time, so you can do the same. There are only 4 metrics that could impact your ROAS: CPM, click-through rate, AOV, and conversion rate. When ROAS went down, it's because at least one of these changed. So for each of the clients, I have this tracking sheet that helps me troubleshoot which metric was the problem. I keep tracks of these numbers on a daily basis. I basically input just 4 or 5 metrics, and the rest is calculated and color formatted based on the performance. So I can easily see when ROAS goes down, what changed: CPM, click rate, AOV, or conversion rate. So here in the sheet you can see that, like, okay, Facebook is doing decent, MER is pretty good, but okay, click rate is below average. But I don't care if click rate is below average, as long as my MER is at target and my ROAS is at target. You can see that everything is healthy here, everything is green. But let's get to the point where we have not such great ROAS. Okay, ROAS is not great. We can see like it's pretty green. So what happened here? I can immediately spot that it's my creative that's a problem. Or let's find some other period here. So ROAS was even worse. We improved click rate, but what happened? Conversion rate went down, or in this case CPM went up, but that was not a big problem because you can see we had high CPMs during Black Friday that resulted in way higher click rate and pretty high conversion rate. So actually we had a pretty good results on that day. So basically this way, when you observe CPM, click rate, AOV, and conversion rate, you can actually spot what the difference is. Now I'm going to teach you what's a problem when each of these metric is changed and how to actually troubleshoot it. If CPM went up, it's probably because there's some new competitor that showed up, which is causing your ad cost to go up, or we are in a period when most brands are advertising, like Black Friday or recently Amazon Prime Day. If click rate goes down, it's probably because it's either creative fatigue, or you're running the same creative for a long period of time, or your ads are just not resonating with the people and they are not interesting, so people are not clicking. If AOV went down, which is probably the least common thing, it's probably because you either started advertising some other products or you're running a sale. So basically your AOV goes down because you're giving bigger discount to the people. If conversion rate goes down, it's either some changes on glitches on your website, or general consumer behavior and purchasing power is not high. For example, recently it was announced that stock market is down, so we immediately noticed that our conversion rate is down across multiple clients. You can also use compare feature in your ads manager if you don't want to build this sheet, but then you cannot spot the differences so easily. Actually, I built another sheet where you can play with potential outcomes to see what is your effect of potential impact when you change one of these metrics. This gives you a clear representation of what should be your priority when trying to improve ROAS, because maybe it's easier to increase click rate from 1 to 1.5 than to increase conversion rate from 1 to 1.5. But that all depends on your current benchmarks. It makes sense to first optimize the metrics that had the worst performance. So here's the sheet. So basically this is average. Let's say everything is we spend 1K, we have $10 CPM, $1 CPC, 1% click-through rate. We got 1,000 clicks, 1% conversion rate, AOV is 100. So basically the revenue is this. But what happens if we decrease our CPMs? Automatically ROAS is up. The same thing happens if we improve our click-through rate or conversion rate or AOV 50%. Now it's up to you to decide and to evaluate what makes more sense to focus on. Because maybe it's hard to increase price for $50 because then our users would not resonate it. Maybe it's easier to improve conversion rate because you did not make any changes since you launched the store. Or maybe it's easier to create better ads, which would actually get your click rate up. Obviously, this model works only under the assumption that none of these other metrics would change if you improve one of these metrics. Obviously, that's not ideal, but it gives you a pointer. So if you realize that even like changing click rate 20% and maybe changing conversion rate 20% Okay, that's still good enough. So basically, you can play with this model to actually understand what has the biggest impact and what you should focus on. I hope this was helpful. If you want this sheet, just comment below and I will provide the template. If you're an ecom brand spending at least 50K a month and want me to identify your biggest opportunity to increase ROAS, book a free ad account audit below. If you're not yet on that stage, just like and subscribe for more useful content like this.